Nelson Mandela, born on the 18th of July 1918, was a South African anti-apartheid revolutionary, statesman and philanthropist who served as President of South Africa from 1994 to 1999. He was the country's first black head of state and the first elected in a fully representative democratic election. His government focused on dismantling the legacy of apartheid by tackling institutionalized racism and fostering racial reconciliation. He was arrested and imprisoned in 1962 and subsequently sentenced to life imprisonment for conspiring to overthrow the state following the Rivonia trial. Mandela served 27 years in prison, split between Robben Island, Pollsmoor Prison and Victor Verster Prison. Amid growing domestic and international pressure and fears of racial civil war, President F.W. de Klerk released him in 1990. Mandela was a controversial figure for much of his life. Although critics on the right denounced him as a communist terrorist and those on the far left deemed him too eager to negotiate and reconcile with apartheid supporters, he gained international acclaim for his activism. On December 2013, Nelson Mandela, the first president of South Africa to be elected in a fully representative democratic election, as well as the country's first black head of state, died at the age of 95 after suffering from a prolonged respiratory infection. However, there is a dark chapter in his past that is not officially documented anywhere, which I will reveal. But first, we need to introduce another character in our story. Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria, born on 1st of December 1949, was a Colombian drug lord and narco-terrorist who was the founder and sole leader of the Medellin cartel. Dubbed the King of Cocaine, Escobar is the wealthiest criminal in history, having amassed an estimated net worth of $30 billion by the time of his death, equivalent to $64 billion as of 2021. While his dark cartel monopolized the cocaine trade into the United States in the 1980s and early 1990s. Unless you have been living under a rock, a man requires no introduction. Countless documentaries have been made about him and his cartel, and many more movies and TV series that depict his actions. Escobar's legacy remains controversial. While many denounce the heinous nature of his crimes, he was seen as a Robin Hood-like figure for many in Colombia, as he provided many amenities to the poor. His killing was mourned and his funeral attended by over 25,000 people. Pablo Escobar was an eccentric person, and besides all the luxury he could afford, he had a private zoo. Escobar kept 4 hippos in a private menagerie at Hacienda Nápoles. They were deemed too difficult to seize and move after Escobar's death and hence left the unattended estate. By 2007, the animals had multiplied to 16 and had taken to roaming the area for food in the nearby Magdalena River. As of 2014, 40 hippos have been reported to exist in Puerto Triunfo, Antigua, from the original 4 belonging to Escobar. Without management, the population size is likely to be more than double in the next decade. But why is this relevant? How are Nelson Mandela, Pablo Escobar and some hippos connected? There is a short hint near the end of the second season in Narcos. Escobar's wife tells him if he went to prison, he could come out like Nelson Mandela. By 1975, Mandela had become a Class A prisoner, which allowed him greater numbers of visits and letters. He corresponded with anti-apartheid activists like Mangosuthu Buthelezi and Desmond Tutu. There is no clear evidence how they came into contact, but it is speculated that Pablo Escobar was an admirer of Mandela, thus sending him a letter. We don't have access to their actual correspondence, but by late 1970s, Pablo had 4 of the aforementioned hippos. The theory goes that Pablo mentioned in one of the letters that he was working on creating a personal zoo, and all of the exotic animals that he wanted to have there. Mandela saw a way to profit from this and seized the opportunity. His organization abducted the hippos and sold them to Escobar. It is not clear yet, but he might have sold other exotic animals as well. With his new wealth, Mandela could finance propaganda throughout the years regarding his political ambitions, leading to his release from prison in 1990 and becoming the President of South Africa in 1994. In 1991, a personal prison was built, known as La Catedral, to specifications ordered by Pablo Escobar under agreement with the Colombian government, in which Escobar would surrender to authorities and serve a maximum term of 5 full years, and the Colombian government would not extradite him to the United States. However, Escobar was working on another plan while in prison. He contacted Mandela again, requesting political asylum. Mandela ignored his request because of 2 reasons. He was too busy with his political campaign, and he couldn't taint his reputation with his connection to Escobar. In desperation, Pablo threatened in one of his letters to blackmail Nelson by making public the origin of the money for his campaign. With this new threat looming over his head, Mandela couldn't let Pablo compromise his campaign. So using his connections, he got in touch with Los Pepes, a vigilante group composed of the enemies of Pablo Escobar, and bribed them to kill Escobar ASAP. But Los Pepes wouldn't be able to achieve this feat. 16 months after his escape from La Catedral, Pablo Escobar died in a shootout on December 2nd, 1993, amid another one of his attempts to elude the search block, a special Colombian police task force. In the end, Escobar wouldn't reveal the secrets. Nelson Mandela would win the 1994 elections and become the head of state, and the Hippos are still roaming free in Colombia.